morning, everyone, or afternoon. Today we're going to continue learning about equations. So if you think back to what you've been doing the last couple of days, we've learned about how to solve one-step equations and how to solve two-step equations. Now, writing equations is going to be a little bit different because instead of having the equation there for you to solve like we've been doing, now we have to look at a word problem and then figure out from that word problem what the equation should look like and then write it. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in to what our notes are going to be, what our steps are going to be in order to write an equation. So the very first thing you want to do when writing equations is you want to look for two numbers, okay? And those numbers are going to be either the total amount. Let me see if my thing will work. There we go. You're going to either look for the total amount or the amount left over. So the amount left first, okay? So if you think back to what an equation, maybe a one-step equation looks like. In a one-step equation, you typically have something that's going on equals another number, okay? Usually there's one number on the right-hand side of that equal sign by itself. That's going to be either your total amount or your amount left over. So that's why we want to look for that first, because then we'll at least have one side of our equation complete, okay? The next step is going to be to identify the unknown information. So identify the unknown information. Basically, that's what do I need to know? What is missing? What am I solving for? Then we're going to underline any keywords that could help us figure out what the operation is that we're using. So for example, if it says the sum of the two numbers, that would be sum would be a keyword that would tell us that we're doing the operation of addition. And then your last step is you'll want to solve to see if your equation makes sense. Now, something that you have to remember is you should never ever put both of your known numbers. So never put both of your known numbers on the same side of the equation. Okay? So there's always going to be two numbers in these word problems. You never want to put both of them on the same side of the equation. That's the fifth grade way of solving equations. We're no longer fifth graders. We are sixth graders, and so we want to do it the sixth grade way. And with the sixth grade way, usually on the left-hand side of your equation, there should be a known number and the variable, which is our unknown information, equals, and then on the right side is another known number. Okay? So you never, ever, ever want to put both of your known numbers on the same side. And known just means like the ones that we know. Cool? All right, so let's move down and let's actually do an example together. All right, so Kim rented skates for 8 hours. The rental fee was $2 per hour and she paid a total of $8. Write an equation to determine how many hours she skated. So remember, our first step is we are looking for either the total amount or the amount left over. So first, which one do I have? Do I have the total or do I have the amount left over? Very good. We have the total because it says, and she paid a total of $8. So when I'm looking down here in this first little step, it says total or amount left. I'm going to put 8 on that spot because I know that I have a total of $8, and I'm going to circle total. That way I know what I'm doing, okay? Now, do I have any keywords throughout here that may tell me what operation I'm going to be using? Okay, so look in the first sentence. Kim rented skates for 8 hours. Do I have any keywords that tell me what operation I'm doing? Not really. We know from here, though, that H, our variable, stands for hours. Okay, so it's always good to know what your variable stands for. So let's look at the second sentence. The rental fee was $2 per hour, and she paid a total of $8. Is there a keyword here that might tell me what operation I'm using? Very good. If you guessed the per, very, very good. That is our keyword. And if you didn't guess it, don't worry about it. You should be able to get it next time. Now that you know that per is a keyword, you'll be able to see it next time. All right. So in this case, per is our keyword. And what operation does that mean we're using? Multiplication, very good. So multiplication is the operation that we're using within this problem. Awesome. All right, so now we have to write our equation. So basically, we're taking everything that we know and we're putting it together. So remember that we never want to put both of our known numbers on the same side of an equal sign. Well, my two known numbers are $2 per hour and then a total of $8. Now think back to what we said whenever we were talking about the total. Where does that total number go? On the left-hand side of the equal sign or the right-hand side of the equal sign? Very good. If you remembered correctly, it should be on the right-hand side of the equal sign. So I'm going to draw my equal sign here. I'm going to give myself some space. I'm going to draw my equal sign, and I'm going to put 8 on the right-hand side because that's my ultimate answer, right? Something happens, and it's going to equal this. So equals 8 is on the other side. So now I know that I have 2 on my right-hand side. So 2 is going to go over here somewhere. And I know that I'm using multiplication, but what am I multiplying 2 by? So you said that per means multiplication, and I have the number 2, so clearly I'm multiplying 2 by something, right? Well, what am I multiplying 2 by? What does it say? $2 per hour, right? It says I'm multiplying $2 per the hour, multiplying it with the hours. Well, what do I have that represents hours? What has the problem given me that represents hours? Very good. Yes, we have it circled over here, and that's going to be H. So the way you want to write this is you want to write 2H. Now remember, side by side you multiply, so if you have that 2 right next to that H, that's going to be meaning multiplication. So 2 times H equals 8. And that's your one-step equation that you have now just written, and you could solve it. And what do we already know what the answer is? Awesome, very good. It's going to be 4 hours. So that's how we're going to tackle these problems. That's how we're going to write these equations. All right, let's do one more example together, and then the rest of the work will be for you to complete on your own, okay? All right, example 2. Sarah used a gift card to buy $47 worth of groceries. Now she has $18 left on her gift card. Write an equation to represent how much money Sarah started with. All right, so here, again, step 1, do we have the total or the amount left over? Awesome. Yes, we have the what's left over because it says now she has $18 left over. So we have the amount left, and that amount left is going to be $18. So let's look at this again, sentence per sentence, and see if we can find out what our keywords are. That's going to tell us what operation we're doing. So it says Sarah used a gift card to buy $47 worth of groceries. Is there a keyword there? There is. Can you figure out what it is? Good, awesome. So you should have been able to identify buy as the keyword here. Okay, buy is our keyword here. Now, when you buy something, what operation does that usually mean you're doing? Very good, you're subtracting, because if I have money and then I'm buying something, I no longer have that money. I get it subtracted away from me. So very good. That is a wonky subtraction sign. Let me do that one more time. But yes, we're subtracting here, okay? So now let's look at it. So we have $47 is one of our numbers, and then $18 is another one of our numbers. And remember, we cannot have those on the same side. So what is going to be on the right-hand side of my equal sign? So remember, what 2 things could potentially go on the right-hand side of my equal sign? That's going to be either the total or the amount left over. So whatever number we put up here, that's going to go on the right-hand side of our equal sign. That's like our end result, remember? So 18 is going to be on the right-hand side of my equal sign. Now we need to focus on the left-hand side, which is typically the harder part, okay? So what happened? What did we do? We bought some groceries, right? Well, how much money did we spend on those groceries? $47. And what operation did you tell me happens with the keyword of buy? We're subtracting, okay? But what am I subtracting these $47 from? Do I have a number that represents that? No, I don't. So what am I going to use to represent this unknown number that I have? I should be using a variable. Very good. So I'm going to just use the letter X. So that's what I'm subtracting 47 from. So whenever you're saying I'm subtracting 47 from something, whatever that something is should be the first thing that you write down. So the way we're going to write this is it's going to be the something that I'm subtracting 47 from. So our equation would be x minus 47 equals 18, okay? Now, the x, something that you should be aware of is trying to figure out what does your x represent? What does our x represent in this problem? What is our variable? Well, if you look at the last sentence, it says write an equation to represent how much money Sarah started with. And that's what our x represents. It basically represents what did we start with? How much money did we start with? What was the original amount on the gift card? Okay? So usually you can either find that that's kind of going to be either your question, or if it's stated as a sentence right here, it'll kind of be, write the equation to represent this. That's usually your missing information. That's usually going to be your x, your variable value, okay?